Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us. Team Mosso at the 1916company.com. It is your purchase and pricing email inquiry line for buying this or any of our watches. Email tmosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Today we are discussing a spectacular 2024 launch from Zenith of Lug, Switzerland. This is the Chronomaster Original Triple Calendar, a watch that has deep roots at the manufacturer as it reflects a very rare pre-production prototype from 1970 that never quite got off the ground, but an example remains at the manufacturer, and it, right down to its A386 case, was reproduced in the Chronomaster Original you see right here. So A386 case design, 38 millimeters in diameter, 14.2 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 46.5 millimeters if it's just the case. But if we take the end link to end link, the total distance across the wrist is 51.2 millimeters, and there is a 19 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. So this watch wears beautifully. This is one of my favorite brands and one of my favorite watches from it. You can see the spectacular striking 10th, more on that in a moment, but let's focus on fit. While the watch is 14.2 millimeters thick, at least 2 millimeters of that is a bulbous crystal designed to look like a vintage plexiglass. This is a sapphire, make no mistake, but because it is so dramatically curved and cambered, your sleeve will actually run up over it quite easily. Now I believe that on a strap, this watch would wear on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, whereas on the bracelet, I think a 14 centimeter circumference wrist is ideal. And again, my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference. That's what you're looking at right here. The bracelet is a beautiful piece. It has a conforming end link to more completely mate it to the case with no daylight showing. It traces the arc of the case as well as the slope of the lugs. There's a little bit of a downward taper from the end link towards the clasp. You can see we have polished intermediates. We have a rolled bevel on the shoulders of the links, polished outer faces, removable links fixed in place using screws. We also have a pair of divots times 5. So those divots allowing you to move the spring bar and change the anchoring point of the bracelet in the clasp to fine-tune the fit. We also have a thick gauge steel single fold deploying clasp, and then we've got a little clamshell lock with the Zenith star. That is the logo of the company, and there's a little curve so you can dig in your nail. Differential finish in polish and satin, just like the case, just like the bracelet. Taking a look at the profile, you can see we have the Zenith star again on the crown. We have pump style pushers, and then we have two adjusters, one for the date and one for the moon phase. This one's the moon phase, this one is for the day. So I should say, properly speaking, this is for the day, this is for the moon phase. We have a quick set system so you can rapidly set the date, and as you rapidly set the date, take a look at the month. You will see that the month will jump along with the quick set of the date. The watch features the spectacular Zenith striking 10th Foudrillon. So since 1969, when the El Primero automatic chronograph became the first automatic integrated high-beat chrono to be developed and released, there was the ability to resolve intervals as small as 1/10 of a second because it beats at 36,000 vibrations per hour or 10 times per second. But that can be difficult to read on a small scale, so Zenith created the striking 10th. They take 360 degrees of dial, and over those 360 degrees, we have a full 10 seconds elapsed. So, for example, if you want to read tenths of a second, it is easy to do so. And I can easily see, for example, that from the index down to the portion where the hand stopped, this is 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 seconds elapsed. So, that is how you read tenths of a second. It is also visually spectacular. Now, of course, you do lose the chrono hours display. You have your 60 seconds here, your running seconds here, and then your chrono minutes down at the bottom. And you do have 60 chrono minutes, which is more than most chronographs, and I like to see that. There are several different versions of this dial. There's a green one that is a boutique exclusive. There's a silver one, and then there's this lovely dark rhodium or dark ruthenium treatment, which is beautiful. No shortage of luminescence either. It's a well-loomed watch. We have rose gold indices and hands, and in exquisite good taste, you could see that the hands feature a combination of brushed satin and polish. The indices themselves are all applique, and you can see the rose gold facets are polished. The hands that show the hours and the minutes are polished, and then the chronograph seconds hand has been brushed. It's a really good look. You can also see faceting of the windows for the calendar, so it's not a sheer ugly cut through the dial. You have that one step down before you reach the bottom. We have 3 registers, each slightly countersunk into the dial with concentric patterns internally. From 1969, when Zenith created the 3019 PHF caliber, the El Primero almost from the beginning had a triple calendar moonphase version, but the specific watch referenced by this Chronomaster original triple calendar used the A386 case, and about 25 of them were made in pilot production in 1970. One of them is still in the hands of the company, and that was used as a laser scanned line for line, detail for detail model for creating this special edition. And they really do think of everything. The striking 10th is beautiful, the quickset system is handy, and this is the 2nd generation El Primero caliber 3600. The original El Primero didn't feature hacking seconds. This one does. That's a big mechanical upgrade. 50 meters of water resistance. You can see the movement on the back. 35 joules. We have automatic winding with a 60-hour power reserve, 10 more than a standard El Primero. The original watch maxing out around 52 hours. You can see it's humming away at 36,000 vibrations per hour. It still has a traditional combination of a column wheel, here in blue, and a lateral clutch. And it is a beautiful chrono. As with the original, they've done a good job of keeping the column wheel, most of the levers, horns, hammers, and clutch of the chronograph visible so that you can enjoy them in operation. And the column wheel feel is outstanding, superbly crisp and positive. And the escapement is made of silicone, both the wheel and the anchor, to reduce reductions in performance in between services. Because they are not lubricated, the lube cannot age or wear down. A wonderful refinement that also adds anti-magnetic qualities. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.